All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's session of Meet Your Architecture School. Now, this is a very interesting session. I'm going to share my screen right now. Give me 1 second. Let me share my screen. Right. So, I hope you can see my screen. Now, the objective of this series of Meet Your Architecture School is number one, to identify the top architecture schools in India, the architecture schools that have a vision for their students and really want to do something different for their students. You get to interact with the management of the school. It could be the management or the faculty, and you evaluate their philosophy and see if that philosophy works with you. Remember, every architecture school is unique and they have something very unique to offer to you. Um, but you will also hit a roadblock, right? And that roadblock is is putting your order of schools preference. Which school do you want to get into? And that's a roadblock you'll face when it comes to whether it's your CET ranking, whether it is your ComEdCare ranking. You need to put a list of preferred schools, and that's the reason why this particular session helps you. If you've missed a previous discussion on how you should be looking at architecture schools, you can always go on to our website. But today we have BMS School of Architecture, which is one of the uh, a very well-known architecture school in Bangalore, and they're represented by Professor Ranjan and Professor Suprita. And to give you a little background of who Professor Ranjan is, he's an assistant professor and the course coordinator um, for the MArch Urban Design Program at BMS School of Architecture, Yelahanka. He's done his Bachelor's of Architecture from VNIT Nagpur and his Master's from SPA Bhopal. Both are very prestigious schools. Uh, he's got, over a decade of experience, which is distributed between, the field experience as a practicing architect and with academics, right? And when it comes to Professor Suprita, so architect Suprita is an accomplished assistant professor at the BMS School of Architecture. Um, she brings her expertise as an architect and an urban planner to the academic arena. She's got a master's degree from SPA in Delhi, and she's got over 8 years of academic experience. She works as a freelance architect as well. Just give me a second. She works and she focuses on residential projects. She does a lot of research as well, and she's pursuing her PhD at the School of Architecture in New Delhi. And yeah, so she at BMS. She teaches various semesters and a wide range of subjects, including building construction methods, history of architecture, landscape, urban planning, and her dual role as an educator and a practitioner allows her to bring in practical insights and theoretical knowledge to her students. So um, at this stage, I would probably uh, click on stop sharing, and I will hand it over to y'all.
Thank you, Dion, for that lovely introduction. As you rightfully said in the beginning, each architecture school is unique, and they all of them have their own set of mottos that that they really focus on. I'm going to share my screen.
Yep. And we're really looking forward because we've been interacting with BMSSA, and we've seen y'all grow and really do some very interesting things for the students over the last few years.
Right.
And even the visit, the last time we got some extremely good feedback from the students who visited the campus. So looking forward to seeing what you have to hear. What we are looking forward to hear what you have to say. Um, there's a square box that's showing up on the top. I think you may need to hide your panel controls.
We're just working on that.
Yeah. But if yeah.
Better?
Yes. So I mean
I
it's
think
down now,
it'll
but you can proceed
yeah.
and we'll see maybe. Yeah, okay, you can proceed.
Right. Very good evening to all of you listening to this particular session. I'm Ranjan Cherian, as Dion has introduced earlier. So I'm going to be talking about our school, the BMS School of Architecture in Yelahanka. So our mission is to educating the future generations. We focus on ethical professionals, creative designers, and informed citizens, which is very critical to us. So the courses that we offer is GIAC, MArch in Urban Design. I am the course coordinator for the MArch program, and there is also PhD degree that are being awarded. So students who choose BMS, you are not just coming into any other college. You are entering into this BMS legacy. So the school has started in 1946, well before the independence of our country, and it's one of the first private initiative in pre-independent India. So that is the legacy that you would be getting into. What you see on the screen right now are our visionary leaders, Dr. B.S. Ragini, and we have Dr. Dayanand Pai, Sri Aviram Sharma, and Sri Ravi Venkateshan, who is the current chairman. So that's our whole family, which is being spearheaded by our beloved director, Dr. Shaila Bantnoor. She has done her PhD from IIT Roorkee. Uh, about the infrastructure, we have all the basics. We have the basics and beyond. We have a very full-fledged computer lab with some of the fastest processors. We have a dedicated GIS lab. The library is updated with all the books and journals and magazines, all that you would require in your architecture course. The auditorium is quite set. We also have a space for sports facilities, indoor sports facilities. We are surrounded by this lush green gardens and atmosphere around us. That is what Dion was speaking to us earlier. Even the students who have visited our campus did feel in love with the overall atmosphere. Teaching and learning, we focus on innovative hands-on techniques. Some of the photographs that you see here are, these origami-shaped balls. These are installed in our campus throughout at various places. So the hands-on experience, there is there's a insane amount of focus on that, and the students are also appreciated by installing these in the campuses at various locations. We also have a lot of national and international tours that are planned throughout the year. So the students can pick and choose either they want to do the international one or the national one. Or architecture is you just cannot learn it from textbooks or in the classroom environment. So these study tours come in handy to understand the cultures around us, and it just makes us a better person. Uh, Speaking of our linkages, we have industry linkages. As you can see, we have collaborations with all these fine architects. So we can see Pankaj Modi there, who has also been part of this some of these heritage sites in Karnataka. We have Sanjay Mohe up on the screen and a lot more other eminent architects with whom we have close relationships and tied. Our alumni are working in all of these organizations. We also have international collaborations with different various domain experts. Our campus life is quite a colorful one. We encourage all these kind of activities, be it sports, contemporary dance forms, or cultural, traditional art forms. All of it are welcome because we have understood it's just not your professional course alone. It is also the co-curricular activities that makes you a person as a whole. So there's a lot of emphasis on these finer things. Uh, so we also understand the textbook or the syllabus alone doesn't suffice. So we have a ton of collaborations, like you can see them on the screen. We have a lot of outreach programs, the latest one being with DULT, that is the Directorate of Urban Land Transport in Karnataka, where we have undertaken a park and, for the KSRTC bus drivers colony. And we've, done some designs and things and some paintings on the walls to enable their children to have a good time in their childhood. So there are a lot of these activities that we pick up. Collaborations also helps us, in taking these students to a next level and understanding these problems a little better and become informed citizens. Um, we have a skill lab, a dedicated skill lab. A lot more machineries are coming. What you see here are the 3D printers and the laser machines. CNC machine is on our way. We can also see these uh, uh, pottery also that is being encouraged. So we have a whole skill lab that is developed, apart from the syllabus that only detects a few things. So we have a lot more to offer. So we believe that all these are necessary to make you as a whole. We also have placement activities. So right from the first year onwards, our placement team focuses on how you have to prepare for the interview, what you need to speak, how you need to speak, what you need to write. So throughout all the 5 years, so there are these various activities by the placement officer, so that they help you prepare, for these kind of interviews. We also have a BMSSA managed accommodation facilities uh, for the for the students, uh, which is not very far off from this campus, just across the road, as you can see on the map there. Uh, so about our school, we are ranked among the seventh in private architecture schools by IRF in 2024. We are the first NAC accredited independent architecture school in Karnataka, which is a huge deal. Many of the architecture schools are, as they seek our assistance in some shape or form to understand how this works. Then we are also ranked number, and you can at the admissions you can reach out to that number that is there on your screen. There are a couple of QR codes on the screen. One is for admission, and you can also follow us on our Instagram link. Um, we are hosting another program on 15th of June. It's a session on KCET, Comet K, on counseling and procedures. This is very helpful for students who have written these exams, and how this exam works and how do you apply for colleges, the filling up of the form, the first chance, second chance, and all these kind of things will be explained by AS Ravi sir, who's going to be here with us on June 15th from 11 a.m. onwards. If you want to register, you can just scan the QR code and register. So Dion, can I just play a video if
Absolutely. You'll have to share sound from the panel, from the Zoom panel.
did you hear the sound now?
No, no, no. You'll have to share your sound. So on the Zoom panel, if you um, just give me a second, give me a second. I'll just stop your screen share for a moment.
Yeah, I think we got it.
You got
Share
it?
sound. Yeah.
Okay. Then you can share your screen again. And you can put it on full screen and then share sound. Yeah. Or share sound and then play it on full screen.
Yeah. Play the sound. Can you hear the sound?
No, no, not
Or we just
audible.
saw the option and now we
Okay.
can't find it.
No. Okay, so when you click on share screen,
Okay.
let's say you click on share screen.
Yes,
Um,
share sound.
yeah, there's the option to share sound there. Yeah. You can put this on full
The
screen as
eighth
well.
institution, BMS School of Architecture, located in the green campus of Yelahanka in Bangalore, is the eighth institution
Can you hear the sound?
Yes, it's audible.
Okay, great.
under the BMS Educational Trust. Established in 1946, the Trust pioneered India's first private engineering college and added 10 more institutions over the years. BMSSA, incepted in 2010, proudly stands as Bengaluru's only independent architecture college accredited by NAAC. Our school actively collaborates with industries, social groups, and institutions aiming to produce the nation's most skilled architects. Our architecture programs seamlessly blend artistic expression and technical expertise, incorporating both traditional teaching methods and cutting-edge information and communication technology. Right from its inception, BMSSA has consistently achieved VTU ranks on both undergraduate and postgraduate courses. 28 of our students have become outstanding rank holders for the past 8 academic years. Beyond comprehensive academic coursework, our students actively participate in hands-on learning experiences. They engage in designing and visualizing in-studio classes, undertake certified internships, and attend guest lectures and workshops conducted by industry pioneers. Over the years, our students push the frontiers by being selected and awarded in prestigious competitions around the world, such as Best Thesis Work honored by the Indian Institute of Architects IIA, the Future Materials Pavilion Design Competition, LIXIL Mentorship Program, and many more. Our esteemed alumni have achieved remarkable success, earning numerous awards and securing admissions to renowned institutions worldwide, such as Boston Architectural College, University of Manchester, Purdue University, and many more. Our diverse student community, dedicated faculty, and accomplished alumni create a dynamic environment for aspiring architects. With its national and international collaborations, BMSSA offers a wide array of opportunities for its students. The college's placement cell continues to excel, with an impressive 22 top firms visiting the campus to recruit talented students.
BMS does look at it in terms of imparting quality education. It speaks about in the kind of infrastructure they give to support the whole system, whether it is financial infrastructure or the physical infrastructures. Like for example, sports. Anyone's good at sports, we do have some kind of sports coaching extra additional added on which is given to them. From that we also have dancers who are very much talented from before and they want to take it forward.
I feel the biggest take is the environment, the campus itself. And the next is we've got one of the best faculties here because as an institute, we've always believed in recruiting the quality teachers here.
Cultural scene is huge. So whenever we have fests, we start decorating the college. We have a team. The design culture is always evolving in college. We do pottery, we do woodwork. So that sort of culture is also integrated.
In a profession like architecture, soft skills really play a huge role. How we conduct ourselves, how good we are with communication, how professionally we manage our work with clients really play a huge role.
BMSSA played an important role in giving us access to a lot of good industry leaders and industry mentors who were part of the board and who were part of the design chair for our college.
For the overall development of the students, we focus not only the curricular but also the co-curricular, extracurricular, sports, culturals, and I personally feel this is what is very much important for our profession, because the profession requires to interact with lot of different people who are into the field. So that's why we need lot of extracurricular skills and the personality development. So that's the reason I should see to it that our profession is always helpful for the society.
Our school's vision is to educate future generations of architects to become ethical professionals and informed citizens. BMS School of Architecture, your path to architectural excellence.
Yeah, Dion, that would be all. We are now open to questions.
All right, thank you for that. There is a question that's come up, all right, that's from Priyanka BG, who's asking, is the KCET 2024 ranking for architecture released based on NATA scores? If not, by when would it, or has it been released yet? Or if not, when would it be released?
Okay.
Do you have any idea on that?
Yes, when it will be released, we have no idea on it. As
Okay.
per the case.
All right. Maybe if you can share your presentation.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I will take that question, Priyanka. Now, the KCT architecture ranking has not been released yet, but all the rankings are based on NATA scores. They will take 50% of your board scores. They will take 50% of your NATA score. They will combine it and create that rank. And the role of KCT or KEA, right, is to compile the ranks. Now, they follow a certain process, and that process will take time. Generally, it does take a little time. So it's a little uncertain. They will suddenly announce and they'll throw up a surprise, but you need to be ready when they throw that surprise. All right. So this series is part of that. I hope I've answered your question, Priyanka. Shaurya Patil is asking, when is the college expected to start in 2024? So when do y'all expect to start? When does BMS SA expect to start classes?
So BMSSA is under the VTU, so Vishweshwarya Technology University. We under that university. So as per that, the VTU releases the timeline. So based on the CET timeline, after the first round of counseling is done, CET gives us start line to when the session has to start. So based on that, so it all again depends on the CET counseling dates.
All right. So, Shaurya, I hope you got that. First, we need to wait for the CET counseling dates. As soon as that is released, they follow the calendar prescribed by VTU. All right. Bindu Madhav is asking, what would be the qualifications to get qualified to get a seat in BMS College of Architecture? I mean, it's the same process, all right, for any of the architecture schools. You need to submit your class 12 board scores and your NATA scores, all right. But is that all the requirement that's there to get into BMS SA?
So with respect to BMSSA, the admission process can happen in 3 categories. So first would be the management seats, the second would be the CET or the KCET of the seats, and the third would be the Comet KCs. So our intake per year is 120 students per year for every year. First year, 120 students that we are taken. Among 4 seats are for KCET, 36 seats are through Comet K, and 30 seats are through management.
Madam, if you can repeat that because you went
Yes.
a little low in between.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it is 120 intake is what BMS SA Alanka takes in every year. And among the 120 intake, we have 54 seats through the KCET, 54, and 36 seats through Comet K, and the rest 30 seats are through management.
Okay. Okay.
So
So
as of
majority of
now,
the seats are through CET.
KCET.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And under KCET also there are various categories, right? So could you
Yes.
kind of give us an indication of, for how many seats from the 54 would be available to general merit students?
So that is
Approximately.
again decided by the KCET itself. It is not given to the individual colleges to take decision upon it.
Okay.
Also, among 54, 3 students are through the diploma CT that happens.
Okay.
51 seats would be for the PU students that is happening. But with respect to this particular thing, so any clarification, I think on 15th, that is June 15th, this Saturday, we have an offline session in college where AS Ravi, who is an ex-PRO of the KEA itself, is going to come and host this particular session so that he can answer them in clarity and the process exactly that is taken care of.
I think that's an excellent suggestion. So those who want to, I think, you know what, there are questions related to the KCET process, all right? And that is something that's very difficult for either the team from BMS to handle or for us to handle because KCET is a different body and they operate on their own. So when so if you scan this QR code that's on the screen right now, y'all can register for the discussion with Mr. A.S. Ravi, who's been a former PRO at public relations officer at the KEA, right? So he would have a much deeper understanding of this process and what it takes or the timelines and the process and you know the government regulations regarding this. So it would be great if you all probably register and attend that particular session.
So,
Bindu
Dion,
yeah,
Dion, we had this session last year also. There were a lot of students and their parents who had joined. And this person, Mr. K.A.S. Ravi, he would explain in detail how is round one being done, how is round two being done, what are the things that we as students have to be take care, what parents have to take care. So it's a very interactive session, and he clarifies everything. For last year, so many students benefited out of that session.
fantastic, fantastic. Do you all have an indication? There's a question from Bindu Madhav who's saying, what's the rank to get qualified? Let's say qualified for BMS School of Architecture, right? Do you all have any details of last year's ranks, cutoff ranks?
Yes, last year cutoff ranks of general merit of CET was around 300. But again, with respect to the ranking or the NATA score or the PU score, this time NATA has been a different format that has been taken over. So the ranking again is going to vary because most of the students' NATA ranks that we've gotten through are already more than 140. So last year, 140 was the highest rank, highest score in NATA for most of the students, but this time it's been a common thing. So with respect to the ranking that it's come up to, it is very relative on how other students have also been performing. So every year it is a very change. The rank keeps on changing drastically with last 3 years that data we check in. So on an average, it can be around 300 is what we can look in within
Fantastic.
300.
Yeah. So that's a great indicator. So Bindu Madhav, I hope that's answered your question. Because it's an important number to have in mind, right? Because as soon as the NATA ranks are released, then you'll have some form of indication what schools you can target, right? And if the student's rank is below 300, then BMS School of Architecture would be a great consideration for you. And accordingly, you would need to put that as a priority school when you put in your details. Yeah. So that's great. So I have a few questions on your presentation. If you can go to the NAC accreditation, right? If you can really give us an understanding, what is NAC accreditation and why is that important for students who are considering your school?
So NAC is a national body that sort of evaluates the college. They have some 7 criterias that they award points for these 7 criterias, and a institution needs to secure those criteria to in order to achieve those points. And once that is done, you will get a grade, either A grade or B grade or B plus plus. That's where we stand at B plus plus. That is that National Assessment and Accreditation Council that awards these. So it's a very rigorous exercise. So it's not just how the college performs in a year. It's not a year. It's actually 5 years. They collect the data of 5 years on how the institution performs at various parameters. They assess it and then they award you these points. So to get all these 5 years of data is a very tedious task, and we are quite proud that we were the first ones in Karnataka, an independent architecture school, to be NAC accredited.
All right, all right. So that's an excellent thing. Do you have anything to add, ma'am?
Yeah, so along with that, I mean, to just expand on what Sir has told, it includes criteria with respect to how the academics is going on, with respect teaching, learning is taken care of, how the co-curricular activities are being taken care in college, the system that is being followed, the students' feedback is also one of the major aspect that is being considered in giving the ranks. So it's a complete package that holds on how the college functions and how the university works in terms of being a good performer in the industry now.
All right, all right. So that's very interesting. If you all can go to the other slides, there are a few more questions coming in, but the previous slides to this, which is the placement activity. Yeah. All right. Now, when it comes to placement, now this is a very important question because a lot of parents and students are concerned about placements, right? So really, what does your placement cell do? How do they handhold the students? Yeah.
So with respect to placement in architecture, especially because it's a totally different volume that it comes to architectural placements and the engineering placements when we are talking about. So we looked into placements. That is the major part. Once the course is over, when we are in the final year, so companies do come here, they recruit students and go back. But that is one agenda of the placement cell that happens at BMS School of Architecture. But when Ranjan did mention with respect to from year one, we start engaging students with our placement activities. We would want to include that it is from first semester we start on activities for them. That is how communication skills is one of the important aspects as an architect. How it is being developed, how do students communicate, visual communication, or it might be with respect to verbal communication. How does that happen? So first semesters are dealt with those kind of skills. And then over the years, maybe the software skills that the industry presently needs. And also we have another program that goes on here with the BIM, that is the Building Information Modeling. So how all of these are a part of the placement cell. So along with recruiting, preparing the students to get placed in very good industries is what we take it as a complete package from first year till the fifth year. Includes of portfolio making, resume developing, it is all of it.
All right, all right.
Yeah,
So it is, in a sense, it's skill development as well as helping them get placed.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it includes all the skills that they require when they are passing out after 5 years of course, along with the recruitment process.
All right, all right.
So to enable the students, to be industry ready, like she mentioned, we have started BIM, which is very unique to our college. So it's a certified course, something that many professional offices they now demand is understanding of this particular BIM software. Earlier, it was just AutoCAD. I don't know how many of you are familiar with it. It's a drafting tool. Earlier, you just need a drafting tool. Right now, it's more than that. So now we need building management, modeling, all those. So that we give here in this campus. So it's another course certification that you get.
Okay. Okay. So these course certifications, along with the skill development, like you said, the visual skill development and also the CV writing and all of those put together enhances a student's capability to get a job, right?
And also this means, I mean, not
Uh, y-
all students would want to.
You're not very audible, madam. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Now?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, because this is a course where not all students would want to get recruited in a particular company or anything. Some of them want to do a startup, that they want to get freelancing, that they want to get in, they want to start their own office. So the skills required for all of these. So the placement cells takes care of getting recruitment, starting their own startups, and also with respect to they want to get into higher education. So the qualifying exams like post BR, they want to get into MR or they want to get into mass MBA. So anything with respect to that, also the exams that they have to take care. So coaching is given with respect to those on how to what to choose with respect to their higher education also.
All right, all right, right. So excellent. So this is, I think, another critical factor. Now, there's a question from Swati Nandakishore. All right. Now, Swati Nandakishore is asking the BMS BR program at the Basavangudi campus, right? What's the cutoff for that? Now, just to put things into context, I know what you're going to say. So just to put things into context, for the audience, there are two schools part of the same group, the BMS group. All right. There is a BMS College of Architecture, which is in Basavangudi, and there is BMS School of Architecture, which is in Yelahanka. This session is related to the BMS School of Architecture, which is in Yelahanka. So, do you all, maybe for the benefit of the audience, is it possible for you all to give a distinction between the two schools?
Okay. So both the schools are under the same trust, that is BMS Educational Trust. Location is one of the major difference that we can talk about, that they are in the South campus and we are in the North. So this is towards the north of Bangalore. And other than that, I think we shouldn't be, there is nothing much difference because it's under the main educational trust that is coming up to. Two independent architecture schools, but it runs and functions under the same.
So from what I understand, it is basically the same institution, but in two separate locations so that they can be accessible to students and they don't have to travel that distance, right?
Yes.
So that helps. And I hope that answers your question, Swati. But would you all have any idea about the cutoff over there? No.
No, we don't have.
All right, all right. So Swati, that information is available if you go through the past data online, or maybe if you watched my webinar on architecture schools to consider in 2024, my previous webinar, it's available on the YouTube channel. I have also showed you how you can find that information. Yeah, so you can do that. Professor, if you can scroll back to some of the previous slides where you'll have the industry interactions. Yes, this one, industry linkages, right? Now, could you kind of guide us as to, we understand that, many of these are illustrious professionals from industry, but could you give us a diversity profile of these? Like what kind of areas these people have come from, or what areas of architecture or community design that these people have come from, and what background they've come from, right? Just to get an idea or a sense of the diversity of people. Yeah.
Of the photos that you see there, one I mentioned is architect Pankaj Modi, who keeps coming to our campus. He is also responsible for recently Karnataka, one of the cities in Karnataka is named under UNESCO as a World Heritage City. I'm just not able to recollect the name. So he is the person behind that. So he keeps coming to our campus. Then below him, you see architect Vagesh Nagnur, who's quite an established landscape architect in Bangalore. He's engaging with both undergrad and postgrad students. Then a few others that you see on the screen are part of the board of governance in our institute. They come here quite often, and they take their time off from the schedule, interact with the students, talk about the designs and encourage them, and these kind of activities happen every now and then in the campus.
And
Yeah.
also recently, with respect to Vishwanath sir,
We need to hear you better. Yeah.
and also with respect to architect Vishwanath here. So recently, he had invited our school students to one of his projects. So we, along with students, visited the site there on how prefabrication is done and how exactly on live it was visualized how the buildings have come up, how the material usage and all of it. So all of them, when their live projects are there, they do take our students, and students have an on-site experience of how things are happening.
All right. Now, what is so that brings me to the next question, right? So what you're saying is the students have the on-site experience and actually get practical knowledge to whatever extent possible. Of course, it's not possible to get the most practical unless you're into the project, right? But what kind of understanding gets into the minds of the student? If you can get into a little more details, why are these visits so important for a student?
So the question is, how do you learn? Something you touch, you see, you feel, you experience. So all of this is part of the whole learning process. So the site visits are just so engaging that all the five senses are active, and you get to learn a lot more quicker than what is being done in a classroom. So that is what the site visits do to you.
All right. So
A lot of theories are being taught in the class. You get a fair idea of how things are done, but once you go to the site, you get to see it for real. There are a lot of problems at site. Small things are not getting together. So all these minute details you get to know, and then you can ask the concerned person there, and you just learn on the go.
And I guess when it comes to architecture, there's a lot of losses in translation, right? Because what an architect envisions in their drawing,
Correct.
to get a carpenter to actually execute that or a plumber to execute that, there's tremendous challenges on that front, right?
Yeah. So similarly, in our last industry visit, the architect ensured that the plumbing person also gives and explains students on his perspective on how it works, the civil engineer perspective, the electrical person perspective, so and the manufacturer of the prefabrication. So it was how a entire a building comes up, who are the different stakeholders that are involved, so how they have to be in coordination with respect to when a building is coming up. So all of that was taken care of in the industry visit.
Okay.
You'll get to learn all these local terms, masala. I don't know how many of you can relate to it, but the whole mixing process, the thing is called the masala. So
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah, these are very interesting aspects which are very localized to each
yes.
region, isn't it?
And this whole idea, this masala, we can't teach it in the class. It just doesn't happen. But you have to be there on the site,
Yeah.
talk to the very local people there, and just understand that.
Yeah, and that's what the mason understands. Mason
Correct.
understands masala. He will not understand the rest of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. So that's very interesting. That's a very interesting perspective. And you bring in very important point, and these are the things that really make a difference when they actually go on site, isn't it? Being able to handle all of these aspects, right? The nuances which you don't really get to learn in school.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Going to a few more questions. Know the Facts is asking, so what is the NATA rank cutoff for BMS this year? Just for your information, the cutoffs will only be announced once the ranks and the process happens, right? So you will not know the process for the cutoff rank for this year unless the process happens. But what you can get is the rank for last year and use that as an indicator, right? So as per last year, you can expect to get into BMS School of Architecture if you are in the top 300 ranks.
As
Mihir
for
is
the first
asking,
round
yeah,
counseling, as for the first round of counseling, because later it keeps on changing. So we have the data of the first round of counseling. 300 is the rank.
all right, yeah, and that makes sense, isn't it? Because the highest chances for a student to get in is in the first round.
Yes, that is the reason I'm mentioning it in the first round of counseling. It's around 300.
Yeah. So I think if we can delve on this point a little bit, all right. This is a very important point that you brought up, that you stressed on. It's because a lot of the applicants or the aspirants, they have this thing that, oh, there are 3 rounds, and I can, if I don't get in the first round, I can get in the second or the third. But really, their best chances to get in is the first round, right? Because that is certain. To get into the second round means someone before you has to give up that seat. And they could do that or they need not do that, right? And the chances vary, the factors that happen, it just changes. It depends on somebody else, right? So if you have to be in control, you have to look at the first round. That's your best chance of getting into the school. Anything else in the second round or third round is luck. Yeah. Yeah. All right, Mihir, I hope you've, sorry, so I hope you've got that point. Now, coming down to Mihir's question, what is the fee structure for BMS School of Architecture, including the hostel fee?
So the hostel, like we mentioned, is a BMSSA managed.
This is the girls' hostel that is there that we have projected here is the girls' hostel. The boys' hostel is within the campus. And also the hostel fees, I mean, if it is CET, again, the KCET fees is decided by the KCET organization. The Comet K fees, again, is decided by the Comet K organization. Management fees, we are at 3.25.
Okay.
Plus, the hostel fees will be based on the occupancy, 2 occupancy and double occupancy and triple occupancy, which approximately ranges between 1.2 and 1.5 per year.
All right. So to put this into context, Mihir, if you qualify for the seat, if you get into BMS School of Architecture through the KCET or the KEA process, it should be around 1 lakh to 1.25 lakhs a year. Okay, estimated that the just for you to get a rough idea, it's within that range. So say between 5 to 6 lakhs for the full 5 years, you'll complete it within 5 to 6 lakhs, right? When it comes to Comet K, if you don't qualify for if you don't fall within those 300 ranks, then you need to consider under Comet K. And if you consider Comet K, then the fee structure is in it ranges again from 1.5 to 2.5 lakhs, maybe a little more than that. So like Professor Suprita said, it ranges, but just to give you an idea, it'll be about 2 lakhs, 2.5 lakhs. So 2.5 lakhs into 5 years will be about 12.5 lakhs. Yeah. So that's how much you need to budget in mind. And if you want to get into BMSSA, which and you're not able to get into either the KCT or the Comet K, then it's 3.25 lakhs, correct? Per year. Yeah, so 3.25 lakhs per year, approximately. So that goes into maybe 15 lakhs and maybe a little over 15, 16 lakhs is what you can expect to pay, right? And that's just a tuition fee. And then there is the hostel fee. Of course, like Madam said, it's how much? 1.25 lakhs a year.
So it ranges between 1.2 and 1.5. It depends on the kind of occupancy that the student chooses.
Perfect.
And,
Does that include food as well?
Yes.
It includes food. Yeah.
And if they are not, if they are localized to Bangalore and it's with respect to travel charges are separate. And for details exactly on the fees, it's better to visit the institution
We
once.
didn't hear that last part.
For the travel, if the bus is required, if they are localized of Bangalore and if they are not opting for hostel and if they want travel preferences that has to be opted, there is bus facility, the transports facility to most of the corners of Bangalore from BMSSA Yelahanka that is there. With respect to the fees and other things, it's better because it depends on the routes that they are taking into and the distance from the college. So it would be ideal if they would come down to college anytime and would exactly know where to what route it
Yeah.
is.
And we always recommend that all aspirants actually, take that effort to travel to the school and interact with the school. And because it gives you a sense of where the school is, what your travel would be on a daily basis. And I think you have a great opportunity next week when Mr. Ravi comes there, right? So those
And
of you
just
who
to
have,
add on to that, yes, it is very important that they visualize the school, the entire campus, the infrastructure, and it's better then they decide which college or institution they want to get in. Because this is a professional course that they are getting in and they're investing their 5 years and their lifetime, what they want to achieve. This is the bridge or the course that they are going to take into. So it would be really great if students visit the campus and then decide which college they want to get in because it will help them frame their portion of life that they are taking it from.
yeah. A couple of weeks ago, two or maybe a few weeks ago, 2, 3 weeks ago, the DQ students had made a visit there. So those who did visit found it extremely interactive and good. And I'm guessing for those who missed it, this is another opportunity for you to do the campus tour and have a look at the students' work and interact with the faculty, right? And the current students. So it's a good opportunity for you to do that. Also for you to see the distance from wherever you live and plan how you can join there. Yeah. Um, so Know the Facts is asking, can we get into architecture through school through KCT? Yes, yes, you can. And this whole discussion is about how you can get in through KCT. If you joined in a little late, you can still watch this webinar from the start and you'll catch up on the discussion which you've missed. All right. Any last questions from the audience before we wrap up? Yeah, y'all can post your last questions. We have maybe a couple of minutes more before we wrap up. Professor, if you can take it to the previous slides, we'll just cover one more slide of this. No, the previous slide to this. Hold on, the previous slide. Okay, one slide. Okay, you started off with the infrastructure. No, we'll go to the next slides. Let's talk about the community outreach. All right. The community outreach. So what exactly happens in this community outreach?
So, what is a better way of learning than going out into the community, talking, interacting, understanding issues, and give the community a helping hand to find a solution, right? So it's very hardcore practical. You have to believe in your guts at that time, and because you're just on your own out in the field. I mean, of course, you have a group, and you interact with the community and come up with these kind of solutions, curated solutions. So this is what happens in community outreach. So one of the latest one that we did is with DULT, Directorate of Urban Land Transport. This is near Shantinagar bus station. There is a housing society for KSRTC bus drivers where their families and all reside. So the adult has recently, uh, you know, uh, carved out this particular playground for the children, and we were brought in to sort of engage with the community because the community needs to understand that this playground is theirs. So we engage with the community, brought in their children, we drew the things on the wall, and we colored along with the children. So then tomorrow when they come back, they get to say this is our work also, right? So that's the kind of engagement that we encourage in the campus.
All right, all right. And I think in a sense, architects really play a role of shaping communities, right?
Very true, very true.
Yeah, through the work that they do, through the buildings and through the environments that they design, it really works towards developing communities. So it's nice to be in touch with the community as well. Yeah.
So for whom are you building? It's the people, right? It's always the people. So they are put up front. I mean, it's the people's vision that needs to come across.
And this is a course where we need to meet all categories of people.
We can't hear you, madam.
I'm so sorry. This
Yeah.
is a field where we need to interact with all categories of people, different professions, different people, like different social groups, and everyone. So, this is a place and this is an opportunity where our students get in touch with everyone and understand how each social life is different, how different professions work, and obviously gaining the network will definitely help our students in future in order to get their own projects when they are accomplished architects.
All right, all right. There's one final question that's come from Mahati. And she's deleted the question, but I thought it was an interesting question anyway.
All questions are good, Mahadeep. There's no
Yeah,
wrong question.
so that was regarding the national and international travel, right?
Okay.
So if y'all can just go on to that slide quickly, if we can cover this in a couple of minutes. Why is this important, and what do students learn and gain out of this?
I'll take. Yeah. So this is a mandatory. One study tour is mandatory part of the course, right? So students are expected to choose either national or international trip, and they would. It's usually around a week to 10 days to 12 days. A week to 12 days is the trip, and they visit all these architectural creations that we study in textbooks, right? And they get to see it live. They experience it. I don't know how many of you have been to Taj Mahal. It's a different level of experience as those who have been to Taj. It's just the whole architecture just moves you. So that we cannot capture in the classroom. You have to be there, look at it, pause, and just allow that structure to move you. So that is what is expected in all of these study tours. So you go there, understand the architecture vocabulary, the architecture styling, why is it built, what was it for, and then you would sort of prepare a document of sorts, and then you do a submission on it. So Preeti, you want to add?
So, in Kannada, there is a saying that we tell Desha Sutti Nodu Kosha Odi Nodu, which basically means travel a lot or read a book. That is how you gain knowledge. So it helps a lot. See, the eye captures a lot of things which otherwise we might not be able to. And being in this particular field, it is never, there's no end to any subject that we learn. The more we see, the more we visualize is when we tell in that we keep growing and our creativity keeps on increasing. So traveling definitely helps dealing with different culture, different people, different going to different part of the world or India, or it can be a local study. Like this year, we have a local study that is organized to Mysore. So even that is very different from Bangalore when we are comparing it to. So understanding different culture plays a very important role in architecture. That is the reason we insist on having these tours.
I think when I see these pictures of Rome, right, St. Marco Square and Colosseum and
Colosseum
all that,
and
it also gives an essence of how people in Italy or maybe London or Paris, how they preserve their culture and culture through that architecture, and how the same language is reflected in the buildings around. Right.
yes.
So there's so much that we learn from each of these visits, and each city and each center is very unique in its own perspective, and learning from that is great. This brings us to the end of the conversation. Tia Therese has asked a question about BMS Baswangudi branch. I think you'll have to check with the Baswangudi team, okay, regarding that. But this team will only speak about BMS School of Architecture, which is at Yelahanka. So with that, we come to an end of this session. Thank you, Professor Ranjan and Professor Suprita. It's been a pleasure interacting with you all and getting a very good understanding of what happens at BMS School of Architecture, Yelahanka. And if you can put that last slide again for those who missed it, please do take a scan this QR code, register for this visit, and make the time to visit this BMSSA, on June 15th. All right.
Thank
All
you
the
so much
best.
for giving us this opportunity. I hope we have clarified a few doubts.
Can't hear you, madam.
Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. And I hope you've done justice in giving an insight about what our college is about and what we do as an institution. I hope we have cleared maximum doubts that have been asked.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you, Deon. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And never erase your questions. All questions are good. So please, even when you are in the campus, do not erase any questions. Just ask the questions, and we try our best to answer.
Yeah, and that's coming from the faculty. So that's the faculty thought process. Don't worry about the questions. Just ask them. Just clear out all doubts in your mind. That's the thought process of the faculty there. And with that, we come to an end to the session. Please remain here. I will end this live streaming. All right.